July 2025. Microsoft insists Windows 11's AI revolution is the future. But behind closed doors, the story shifts. Users revolt against forced Copilot, cloud dependency, and constant data collection. Online backlash explodes while internal conversations quietly pivot toward damage control. If the world's most powerful software giant will not admit failure out loud, what crisis is unfolding inside Redmond right now? Inside Microsoft's Redmond headquarters, the official story remains unchanged. Executives double down on their vision, repeating that Windows 11's AI integration is essential for the modern PC. Yet the silence around mounting problems grows more pronounced. There is no press release, no blog post, no moment of public reckoning. Instead, a peculiar quiet settles in. July 2025 passes without a single statement addressing the wave of complaints flooding forums and social media. Engineers field bug reports about Copilot's unpredictable behavior, searches that return nonsense, workflows interrupted by unwanted pop-ups, and privacy settings that seem to vanish after every update. IT admins share stories of failed attempts to disable AI features, only to see them reappear after the next patch. Even as users vent their frustration online, the company's outward messaging never wavers. Every keynote, every product brief, every official channel holds to the script, AI is the future, and Windows 11 leads the way. Behind closed doors, the absence of acknowledgement becomes its own kind of admission. Support forums quietly update lists of known issues, but avoid naming AI as the source. Executives like Pavan Davuluri issue clarifications, not apologies, after backlash to bold announcements. The disconnect grows sharper between what Microsoft says and what users experience daily. The world's most powerful software company refuses to say the word failure, but the cracks are impossible to ignore. In this hush, the real story begins to take shape. Not in what is said, but in what remains unsaid. Windows 11's AI transformation began with a promise: smarter productivity, seamless assistance, and a future where the operating system anticipates every need. Copilot, Microsoft's flagship AI, was not just another app. It was built into the very fabric of Windows, visible on the taskbar and quietly active in the background. With each update, Copilot reached deeper, embedding itself in File Explorer, Search, Settings, and even Notepad. This integration demanded more than a simple install. Copilot relied on constant communication with Microsoft's cloud, sending queries and user data to remote servers for processing. The operating system itself became dependent on these AI-driven services, with features that required an uninterrupted internet connection. Even routine tasks, like searching for a file or adjusting preferences, could trigger calls to AI models running on Microsoft's infrastructure. Productivity was the selling point. Microsoft's architects described a world where Copilot could summarize documents, automate tasks, and offer real-time suggestions. But these benefits came with strings attached. Users found that Copilot was enabled by default, with no straightforward way to remove it. Attempts to turn off AI features often proved temporary, as system updates would quietly reactivate them. The boundaries between local computing and cloud processing blurred, raising questions about who controlled the experience. For many, these changes felt imposed rather than optional. The AI-first approach meant that even the most basic workflows now depended on remote servers and opaque algorithms. As Copilot became the public face of Microsoft's vision, the stage was set for the friction that would follow. Reddit threads light up with screenshots of Copilot's latest blunders, misfiled documents, broken workflows, and AI-generated nonsense that leaves users shaking their heads. The anger is not contained to a handful of power users or privacy diehards. #Microslop and #RemoveCopilot trend on X, propelled by thousands sharing stories of performance drops and vanishing privacy controls. YouTube fills with tutorials showing how to disable Copilot using group policy edits, registry hacks, or third-party scripts. Some videos rack up over 50,000 views in a matter of days. Their comment sections packed with users trading tips and venting about updates that undo their work. On GitHub, repositories dedicated to stripping AI from Windows attract a steady stream of stars and forks. PowerShell scripts promising to remove Copilot surge in popularity, with contributors updating code after each monthly patch that reactivates the features. Forums like R Windows 11 and ER privacy guides become rallying points, their top posts linking to tab-loading tools and browser extensions that block AI prompts. Even owners of LG televisions join the chorus, furious over Copilot's expansion into their living rooms. Memes spread as fast as the frustration. the term microslop becomes shorthand for everything users hate about forced AI. Parodies of Microsoft's branding and keyboard layouts circulate, mocking the company's insistence on AI at all costs. What started as scattered complaints now builds into a movement, one that is impossible for Microsoft to ignore, no matter how silent the official channels remain. Inside Microsoft, the mood is watchful. Away from the spotlight, internal dashboards flicker with data that executives rarely mention. Copilot engagement sits well below projections, and telemetry shows users spending less time with AI features than the company had hoped. In quiet meetings, product managers debate the numbers, searching for a narrative that fits the optimism of public launches. The language in marketing decks starts to soften. Phrases like AI first give way to AI enhanced and tailored experiences. Keynotes that once promised a revolution now lean on familiar themes of productivity and choice. One longtime engineer describes the atmosphere as tense but resigned. No one wants to say we missed the mark, they explain, but everyone can see the metrics. Anonymous sources point to a shift in priorities, less pressure to push Copilot into every corner, more talk about giving users control. Even so, the company avoids any direct admission. Instead, fixes and options appear quietly in insider builds, tucked behind toggles and admin settings, without fanfare. For some at Microsoft, the silence is unsettling. Bill Gates, though no longer at the helm, remains a touchstone for the company's values. Those who worked with him remember his insistence that user trust is the foundation of everything. In private conversations, former colleagues recall his warnings about moving too fast, about the dangers of building technology without listening. As the AI push faces resistance, those words echo through the halls, a reminder that trust, once lost, is hard to regain. Corporate information technology leaders face a different set of problems. For them, the question is not just about productivity or convenience, it is about risk. Chief information officers at financial firms and healthcare providers raise alarms over AI features that capture screenshots, process sensitive data in the cloud, and resist full deactivation. Some organizations halt their Windows 11 upgrade plans, citing compliance requirements and the unpredictability of Copilot behavior. Internal reviews weigh the potential fallout from regulatory breaches against the promised gains in automation. In boardrooms, teams debate whether to stick with Windows or begin evaluating alternatives like Linux or Mac OS. The cost of retraining staff and rewriting workflows is steep, but so is the risk of a single AI-driven mistake with confidential information. Information technology departments find themselves in a holding pattern, waiting for clarity that never comes as the stakes grow larger with every delayed deployment. Microsoft's leadership faces a crossroads, each path carrying its own gamble. One option is to press ahead, to double down on the AI-first strategy, even as users and enterprises push back. That would mean more Copilot, deeper system-level integration, and a bet that resistance will fade with time. The second path is to quietly reframe, make AI features optional, dial back the rhetoric, and let users reclaim some control. This approach risks admitting implicitly that the original promise fell short. The third, most dangerous, is to do nothing and hope the storm passes. In the past, Microsoft weathered storms over Vista slowdowns and Windows 8 design choices, but this time the issue cuts deeper. The question now is not just about features, but about who truly controls the operating system and whether trust can be rebuilt or if it is already too late. Today, user trust, not just innovation, defines the future of technology. As backlash reshapes Microsoft's playbook, the line between progress and overreach grows thinner. For millions, the question becomes not what AI can do, but who truly controls their digital lives. Where do you stand?